Before I get started with the story, let me give a shout out to Craig J because he was the first person to tag me in this story. And this is my first time actually learning about this story. So in this picture, you see a woman by the name of Brenda Rawls. She is from Connecticut. And it's crazy because we were just talking about Lauren Smith Fields, and she's from Connecticut. And this story right here blew me away when I first learned about it. So we all know that Lauren Smith Fields is pretty much dominating the news right now in some way, some shape or form of fashion. But there's another person, Brenda Rawls, who was found deceased on the same day, in the same city, in the same state as Lauren Smith Fields. Because Brenda Rawls was found dead on December 12th. Pronounced dead on that day, I should say. Now, that's just very strange when you hear about it. But what's even more weird about the situation, besides the fact that Brenda is also a black woman like Lauren, her family also got the same type of response from the Bridgeport, Connecticut police that Lauren's family did, which was pretty much their hands was tied and there was a lack of communication, and almost chopping it up as there was nothing that they could do. Now, I don't know what the circumstances of her death is, as far as was she alone? Did someone do something to her? Or whatever the case may be. So I'm going to read this article coming from NBC News that was posted on January 27th, 2022. It says, or it reads, the family of a black woman found dead in Bridgeport, Connecticut on the same day as Lauren Smith Fields alleged that city police have not investigated her death or taken the case seriously. And like Smith Fields' family, they said police never notified them of her death. They said they learned she had died through their own investigating. The woman, Brenda Rawls, age 53, died December 12th. The Connecticut office of the chief medical examiner said Thursday that the cause of death has not yet been determined. Her sister, Dorothy Rawls Washington, says she and her sisters are close and talk on the phone or text one another every day. On December 11th, Brenda Rawls told her family that she planned to go to the home of a male acquaintance who lived down the street from her. Her family said they tried unsuccessfully to reach her December 12th and 13th. Now listen to that. Go to the home of a male acquaintance. And that was the last time they heard from her. Remember, Lauren Smith Fields was in her home with a quote unquote male acquaintance, and she didn't live. And now you have this situation right here, where she said to her family that she was going to the home of a male acquaintance, and that was the last time they heard from her. Remember, black woman, Bridgeport, Connecticut, just on the same day as Lauren Smith Fields, and she's going to see a male acquaintance, and that's the last time her family hears from her. Something strange is going on in Bridgeport. Then, on the 14th, we said something's wrong, Washington said. So two of my sisters, my niece and my niece's boyfriend, walked down to that male's house. When they asked him whether she was there, he told them that he couldn't wake her up on December 12th and that she had died, Washington said. Now it's getting even more weird, because that's like the same play that Matthew LaFontaine gave with Lauren Smith Fields. I wonder if they're going to say they found the same type of stuff in that house that they did with her. Now, like I said, this is my first time reading this article. So like I said, it gets crazy. Like I'm only a little bit, probably over a little halfway through this article. And I'm like, just like, it's like literally looking at a photocopy with Lauren's case. Angela Rawls Martin, another of the sisters, said, "He gave me the clothing that she had on and her shoes. I don't understand why that was left behind." Bridgeport police did not immediately respond to a request for comment. "Nobody ever notified us that she died," Washington said. "We had to do our own investigation and find out where she was." One of the Rawls sisters called a funeral home to ask whether her body was there, but it wasn't. Washington said the funeral home advised the family to contact the state medical examiner's office, and that's where they found her. "They never took any opportunity to look for our next of kin," she said of the police. "The next time we saw our sister, she was in a funeral home." The family provided NBC News with copies of 4 letters they said they sent to Mayor Joseph Ganim and Acting Police Chief Rebecca Garcia. They said they have not received any responses. A spokeswoman for Ganim did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the family's allegations. In response to criticism of the handling of Smithfield's death, Ganim said Monday that he was planning to work with the police chief to make appropriate changes here in Bridgeport now for our department's policies and practices regarding notifying family members of a death. In her letter, Martin said that she spoke to a police sergeant multiple times and that when she asked him whether police had searched her sister's apartment or the residence where she was found, he told her it was not in the police report. In an interview, she said the same police sergeant also apologized to her and told her that police had dropped the ball with regard to the investigation into her sister's death. And the same thing happened with Lauren's family. The same thing that I'm reading here is the same thing that her family was given as well. This story, just like I said, is so weird. It's creepy at this point. Washington said she and her sisters went to the Bridgeport Police Department last month and were given the name of a detective to contact. She said she called him 4 or 5 times but has never heard from him. "They treated my sister Brenda like she was a Jane Doe. Like they found her on the side of the road with no identification. They have no respect." Smith Fields was found dead in her apartment after a date with a man she had met on the dating app Bumble. The man, who was 37 and white, called 911 on December 12th to report that he had awakened to find her unresponsive with a nosebleed. The office of the chief medical examiner said Monday that Smithfield's death was an accident resulting from acute intoxication due to combined effects of fentanyl, promethazine, hydrazine, and hydroxyzine and alcohol. Afterward, Bridgeport police said they had opened a criminal investigation as a result of the medical examiner's report. Ganim said Monday that the handling of Smithfield's case has been referred to the police department's Office of Internal Affairs for an investigation. My thing is, y'all going to send them to Internal Affairs for investigation when they didn't even want to investigate this thing in the first place? What do you think they're going to do with it? And if they do the same thing with hers, they're going to get the same results. An attorney for Smithfield's family, Darnell Crossland, filed a notice of claim Friday notifying the city of his intention to sue over what he described as the police department's racially insensitive handling of the case. Washington and other Rawls family members attended a rally for Smithfield in Bridgeport on Sunday, which would have been her 24th birthday. Both families are calling on the state to investigate the deaths of Smithfield and Rawls. It will not be a fair or thorough investigation if done by the city, Washington said. Maria Pereira, a city council member whose district includes the residences of both women, said it was not until the rally that she learned that both women had died on the same day and that their cases were being handled by the same precinct. Pereira said there was an awful lot of similarities between the 2 cases, although she did not suggest they were linked. Among them, that both women were black, that they died unexpectedly at young ages, that they were on dates with men who reported that they had awakened in the morning to find them dead, and that neither of their families were notified of their deaths by police. In addition, Pereira said both scenes of the deaths were not secured or processed for forensic evidence, and both families said Bridgeport police treated them without any compassion or humanity. So now what I see here is a pattern with the Bridgeport PD, she said. And that right there is the entire article. This story blew me away because there are so many similarities. You have 2 black women, both in Bridgeport. The last time they talked, the last time they were seen, they were with somebody else. Lauren was in her apartment. This woman went to this man's house. And then the next thing you know, they both end up dead on the same day. And it's somebody, you know, who was there, and the people that they were with, you know, are acting like oblivious about what's going on. Now, I wonder what time Brenda was taken out. So, and I hate to say it like that, but I'm trying to be, you know, try to not be too extreme with it. But y'all know what I mean. Because Lauren, hers was early in the morning she was found dead early in the morning, or she was pronounced dead early in the morning of that day, the December 12th. So I wonder if Lauren was found dead first, and then Brenda, she was found dead later. Like her incident happened later in the day, or later in the day, or later that evening. If they had to been the same day, if I'm reading into it correctly, if I'm not reading too much into it that I'm wrong, but if I'm reading enough into it that I'm right. Because like I said, with Lauren, they said that they found her when it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and it didn't give a time for hers, but hers was also on the same day. Something like, it's like I want to put my investigative cap on, my detective hat on with this one. Like the tinfoil hat is tingling right now, because they said they don't believe that these are linked. But here we have 2 black women. They were with these guys, and they both end up dead on the same day. Now, as far as we know, Brenda and Lauren did not know each other, as far as we know. And I think they can rule out that they knew each other. But also the attitude that the Bridgeport Police Department had towards both of them. But we don't know who this guy was with, or guy who was with Brenda. But the family said they went down to the guy's house to ask him about her, because they noted that she was going there. And then he said that he gave them her clothes. So the family who went to see this guy, they know what he looks like, but we don't have any description of him. So it's up in the air who this guy is. And they said they really haven't charged him with anything. And I won't be surprised if they try to get the same outcome with this one that they did with Lauren's story as well. But like I said, this story has so many red flags over it, and it raises even more questions that I need answering. It's just wild. So I'm gonna have to try my best to stay on top of this one. Because again, this says that on December 11th, she told her family that she planned to go to the house of a male acquaintance who lived down the street from her. So this is someone that lived in the same area as her, in the same neighborhood. They said they tried to reach her on the 12th and the 13th. So for 2 days they tried to contact her, but they couldn't reach her. And then they said on the 14th, that's when they realized something was wrong. And then they said that they went down to his house. Then they couldn't wake her up on December 12th, and that she had died. But my thing is this. If the guy she was with said she had died on December the 12th, why didn't they contact the family? So her family was trying to reach her, and 9 times out of 10, she was already dead. So that means she was dead for 2 days before they even knew she was gone, because the Bridgeport police did not contact the family. Like the sister had said, they treated her like she didn't have a next of kin, and that she didn't have any ID, and treated her as a Jane Doe. They had to travel to find out where her body was. And then that's when they found out she was down at the at the medical examiner's office, aka the morgue, with a tag on her toe. But yeah, something very weird is going on in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and the black women up there, because I did not know about this story. I didn't. They, of course, with Lauren Smithfield's, hers got pushed out there, but this one should have been pushed out there as well. But see, they probably didn't want too many eyes on them. Well, too late now. The eyes should definitely be on them. And I hold the Bridgeport Police Department at fault for this one, and for the Lauren Smithfield's one, despite how you might feel about her, because at the end of the day, they're not doing their job. It's like they have something to hide. And I think they are indeed hiding something. But I do offer my condolences to this woman's family. Hopefully they can find out who this guy was that she was with, because as far as I'm concerned, he's not a saint himself. And on that note, I'm going to end the video. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, make sure you go ahead and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live. And I will talk to you in the next one.